Hi, everyone. I hope you have your popcorn and your favorite drinks. And yeah, it's showtime. It's go time. So, yeah, I'm going to check the chat real quick, see who's filing in, who's shaking things up. Oh, I see right off the bat we have King Capri, who's our early bird. We've got Dave Cavity, or Dave, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say the cavity part. We have Dave in the house. We have Fazio Flint, all the way from the UK. Oh my gosh. This is exciting, you guys. This should be a fun live stream because we are going to be talking about, of course, Scorpios, but it's not just going to be about Scorpios. It's going to be about Scorpios in a relationship with another Scorpio, but not necessarily Scorpio sun signs with another Scorpio sun sign, although that will be part of it. I'm also going to be addressing like how like two Scorpio folks that have their Scorpio placements in Mars and Mercury, Pluto, of course, the moon, rising, and sun. And I'm going to just briefly, well, maybe not briefly, but I'm going to touch upon each of those energies together. I'm going to kind of show how those energies will either like collide, depending on if you have two evolved Scorpios or Scorpio energies in a relationship or not. Okay. And so, yeah, I have not really thoroughly covered the Scorpio energies in bed or in a relationship with another Scorpio. So I thought I would do that. I think it would be fun. Because, you know, what do you guys think? What do you really believe? Like if you've got two dominant Scorpio energies and they're married or they're in a relationship or like living in the same space together, do you think it's going to be like a total disaster, you know, like a power struggle, you know, chaos? Or like, do you believe like this could be the most like powerful, amazing, intense, very fulfilling relationship like ever? Okay. Now, I really believe personally that it depends on like if two people are evolved. I mean, on a spiritual and emotional level. Okay. I'm not talking about financially evolved, although that does help. So I'm going to just check my camera real quick. I want to make sure that it's stable. I have it propped, but it almost looks like it's ready to fall off. So before I like really get deep into this, I want to check my camera, make sure it's not going to just like whoop, fall while I'm in the middle of talking. Not sure why it was looking that way, but it was kind of freaking me out, you guys. So I'm trying to put it back. Okay, you guys can see me a little bit here. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to adjust a little better. I like things to be like symmetrical. All right. So hope you guys can see me and hear me all right. If not, just make sure you let me know if things get a little crazy. All right. Okay, let me see who else we have rocking and rolling. Oh, so Faiza Flint, all is good. I'm not going anywhere. I've been looking forward to this. All right, cool. You are a Scorpio sun. Do you have any other Scorpio placements, Faiza Flint, in your natal birth chart? I know you said you have Gemini moon. Okay, so yeah, we have Scott. Hello, Scott. How are you doing? We have, oh, my Kentucky dog in the house. All right. Awesome. I'm stoked, you guys. I'm stoked. We have some new folks in the chat. This is exciting. King Capri, you think that two Scorpio dynamics in the same household, whether they're married or not, would make a power couple? Yeah, I truly believe. I truly believe that myself. What I was trying to say there. Okay. Hello, Rob. How are you doing? Rob Smiley is in the house. I know you're going to be shaking things up for us today, Rob. How are you doing? Yeah. Okay. As Dave says, Coach, Rob, Coach Rob. Scott's got the dogs. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? You guys, I love it. So yeah, King Capri thinks that two dominant Scorpio energies would make a powerful or power couple. And I actually have to agree with that. Like, who's going to take on two dominant Scorpios, especially when they're in sync with one another? Like, that's a powerhouse right there. Not to mention, you have to look at, of course, the other aspects and placements in their chart and everything. But yeah, I'm just like, yeah. Anyways, you guys, this should be fun. And before I get into the thick of all of this, I just want to say welcome to all of anybody out there that is new to my channel, or if this is your first time or second time, doesn't matter. Even if you've been showing up forever since day one, I just want to say appreciate you and welcome. This platform is all about positive vibes. So if you haven't dealt with your emotional traumatic trauma and issues, please check it before you enter into the chat. Okay. Let's keep the vibes up. Let's keep them happy. Let's show some love. And let's learn from each other, most importantly. And of course, let's show some honor and respect towards each other. And also, I have created playlists for every single zodiac sign. I've created 2 long, deep Scorpio playlists for all those who want to know more about Scorpios. Okay. And Scorpios out there, I know you're listening to this. If you want to know more about yourself, you want to understand yourself better, I created those playlists for you too, okay? Yeah, for you too. Hello, Lance. How are you doing? Oh, let's see. Lance says, I was oh, you were wrenching under the, oh, cool. All right. Grease monkey. Okay. Anyways. Rob Smiley says, you love my hat? Yeah. Thank you so much, Rob. Yeah. More blingy bling. Yeah, it's very blingy, isn't it? But yeah, it's all about the love, you guys. Let's stay heart-centered. That's what it's all about. Rob says they not go take on one dominant Scorpio. Yeah, I mean it's you have to be really ballsy to take on one dominant Scorpio, let alone 2 that are in unison and in sync, you know, or a tribe of Scorpio energy. You know, nothing's going to be going anywhere with that. Like, yeah, we have cousin Marissa in Brookhaven. Hello, cousin Marissa. How are you doing? You having a great day? So glad you joined us. Rob says you're going to get rich off of the bedazzle. That's right. Now, if I was like pumping these things out and making these hats and really like trying to sell them on my platform, I don't know if I'd get rich, but I definitely know that they would sell pretty well because I have sold a lot of my dragon hats and stuff. I think more than any of my other hats is the dragon hats have sold the best, especially when I add a little bling to them. But yeah, no, like I actually used to, the 3 businesses that I have now used to bring in some really good money, but the economy has just like taken it's this tanked, you guys. The economy, people are spending less on like frivolous stuff like hats and all that. They're spending more of their money, of course, on food and like the necessity type things. So like it actually, my businesses have taken a hit because of that. Yeah, unfortunately. So I'm just looking forward to the economy picking up. Anyways, so let's see here. We have is this Bragsy? Hello, Bragsy. Scorpio is seriously the coolest star sign. Aw, remember, our poison can kill or heal. Yes, I'm with you 100%. That the Scorpios can definitely either destroy you or totally lift you up and heal you. So yeah, that's the best way to put it right there. Yeah. And it's black or white, all or nothing. It's an extreme, you know. So yeah, I'm so glad you're here, Bragsy. If there's a different name that you guys would like me to call you, you can also put that in the chat. If you don't want me to call you by your YouTube username and you want me to call you by something else, just let me know, okay? Because I really want to make sure that I'm calling you by a name that, you know, you feel comfortable with me saying. So yeah, fellow Scorpios, we have Bragsy in the house, we have Lance, we have cousin Marissa, we have Rob, we have all of the Scorpio stars here, huh? Yeah, so why don't we go ahead, you guys, and just get into this. And please, if you will, do me a huge favor, wait until I'm done talking, and save your questions, of course, until the end, and leave. And when you do leave your questions in the chat box for me, please put them in all caps, because that really just helps me so much, you know, see them in the chat. Okay, they just stand out so much, you know, easy. It just makes it just my job a little bit easier. And I don't even consider this a job, but it helps a lot, you guys. So I appreciate it. And so I'm gonna take a couple more sips of my drinks, you guys, and then we're gonna get into this. Grab your drinks. Grab your drinks, think about your questions. And while you're at it, why don't you hit that like button, huh? Okay, you can wait until the end. I want to make sure you guys resonate with what I say. I don't like to be like the tyrant or the one that's like, you need to like my butt, you need to like my videos, whatever. I'm like, I want people to actually hit the like button because they actually, you know, resonate with my material. I don't want any fake likes out there, you guys. Just wouldn't mean as much to me. All right, you guys, love you. So let's go ahead, get my hair out of the way, because I feel like, you know, my hair is so thick and it keeps me warm and stuff during the winter, but like in the summer, oh, yeah, just makes me sweat. Okay, and thank you, Rob, for your support. Yay. I love that. Okay, let's do this, you guys. Let's go ahead now that I've had my drinks. All right. So my dragon pups, what do y'all believe happens when you put two of the most intense, private, passionate, intuitive, and psychologically complex people in the entire zodiac into the same relationship? You get Scorpio and Scorpio, okay? And before somebody in the chat says, oh, Julianne, heaven forbid, absolutely not. I dated Scorpio and I still have emotional receipts. Honestly, I can totally understand. So I just want you to pump the brakes for just 1 nanosecond, because we need to have like a serious conversation here about all of this, okay? And I'm asking you, my dragon coven, this one question. Can two Scorpios actually make an amazing couple? My answer to all of that is most definitely yes. Now answer me this. Are they capable of becoming one of the most loyal, powerful, and transformative couples in the zodiac? Again, I must chime in on this and say absolutely yes. But two unevolved Scorpios can turn a relationship into an international investigation, like involving surveillance, emotional cross-examination, and like suspicion that will even make FBI say, oh my God, it's getting like excessive over there. Again, my answer is, oh heck yes, okay? And that is what makes like two Scorpios together like so fascinating, because honestly, when like two evolved Scorpios actually do meet, they can understand each other like on a level that very few people can. But when two unevolved Scorpios meet, they can activate each other's deepest fears and insecurities control issues and trust issues, like somebody accidentally flipped on every switch on the emotional control panel, like at the same time. So prepare your nerves and grab your drinks, okay? Because we are going way beyond the basic Scorpios, only passionate and mysterious stereotype today, okay? We are going into like Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Venus, Scorpio Mars, Scorpio and Mercury, Scorpio risings, and Scorpio and Pluto. We're also going to briefly talk about synastry, traditional astrology, modern astrology, and the deeper esoteric symbolism surrounding Scorpios. And I would love it if you stay with me until the end, because by the end of all of this, I want you to truly understand exactly why two Scorpios can either become an unstoppable powerhouse or discover that dating somebody exactly like yourself is not always the relaxing experience you had imagined. First, let's establish what Scorpio actually is. So we need to talk about Scorpio's modality, which means that Scorpio is a fixed water sign. And fixed means this energy is concentrated. It preserves, it stabilizes, and it does not casually abandon what it has committed itself to. And get this, water relates to emotional depth and bonding, intuition, and of course, emotional sensitivity. So Scorpios aren't just like emotional people. Scorpios tend to be emotionally concentrated. And that distinction does actually matter. You see, traditional astrology gives Scorpio in Mars as its ruler. So with the reveal, I must say that Mars is like the planet of action, desire, and courage, sexuality, assertion. But Mars expresses itself differently in Scorpio than it does in Aries, okay? Now, classical astrology regarded Scorpio as Mars' nocturnal domicile, giving Mars a more contained, strategic, and less openly confrontational expression. Okay, so astrology later added Pluto as Scorpio's co-ruler, emphasizing transformation, power, psychological depth, destruction, and of course, regeneration. So try to think about what happens when two people have a strong Scorpio signature. So basically, you're potentially putting Mars and Pluto themes into the same relationship, okay? Oh, and you will inevitably see and feel that passion that meets passion, okay? Determination will collide with determination, and privacy meets privacy. And of course, intuition unites with intuition, okay? That's what you get. And if both Scorpio peeps are like evolved, then loyalty will definitely meet loyalty. But if both people are operating like from the shadows, control will slam viciously into control, okay? And you know what that will bring about, okay? It's very interesting because an evolved Scorpio will say, I want to understand you better. But an unevolved Scorpio will say something like, I really want to figure you out. Those may sound very similar, but psychologically speaking, they are completely different. You see, one is referring to intimacy, and the other is referring to interrogation. Now let's talk about Scorpio sun peeps coupled up in a relationship. So check this out, you guys. When two Scorpio sun peeps meet, there can be an immediate recognition of something that feels very familiar, like home. Both may understand the need for privacy, and both of them may dislike superficiality. They may want relationships that actually mean something and have value to them. They may have tremendous determination, and both may be protective of the people they love and, of course, of each other. And get this, neither one of them will necessarily need to, outsmart the other, okay? Hold on, you guys. Let me clear my throat. So I believe this can create a beautiful sense of psychology and safety. One Scorpio can look at the other and think, Finally, somebody who understands that I don't want to tell the entire internet what I just ate for breakfast. But here's the problem. Scorpio is fixed. So if two Scorpio suns disagree on something, you can have two people staring at each other, thinking to themselves or out loud, I'm not budging here. And the other person is thinking, well, neither am I. So because they both refuse to compromise or budge, now the relationship has entered a hostage negotiation over who is going to apologize first. Now the evolved Scorpios, well, they just learned that strength isn't always like standing your ground. Sometimes strength is knowing when to soften up a bit. And you know what else? Sometimes strength is saying something like, you know what, I was wrong. And sometimes the most powerful sentence a Scorpio can say is simply this. Let's talk about what just happened between us. Okay, now let's move into Scorpio moon peeps together, like with another Scorpio moon. Because this can be like incredibly deep. Actually, what I mean, emotionally deep and intense. Okay. You see, the moon represents emotional needs. It represents instinctive reactions, inner security, and of course, the way we emotionally process life. Two Scorpio moons living together can potentially understand each other's emotional intensity in a way that feels almost telepathic. One person may notice the other person's mood shift without being told. They may sense when something is being withheld. They may understand the need for like emotional privacy too. Also, they both might crave profound trust before exposing their most vulnerable sides to each other. And once trust is established, this can be an incredibly intimate bond. But there is a giant emotional trap here, which is mind reading. Now take note, my dragon pups. Two Scorpio moon signs together should not assume that because they can sense each other's energies or read each other's minds, they automatically know everything about each other. Okay, so don't assume that. Intuition is not a substitute for communication. Because imagine, if you will, two Scorpio moons sitting across the room from like each other. One might be thinking something is just terribly wrong here. Now, the other Scorpio moon might be thinking something like, something is most certainly wrong here. Okay, and neither one of them say anything because both are waiting for the other person to bring it up. Okay, then like 45 minutes later, they're both angry about something neither person has actually discussed openly with each other. Okay, that is not like psychic communication, my dragon kittens. That's like two people waiting for the other one to break silence. Okay, now an evolved Scorpio moon peep will learn to say, you know what, I'm feeling really insecure and I need some reassurance from you. And I felt hurt the other day when you said such and such to me. And I'm afraid you're emotionally pulling away from me. So you see, that kind of communication shows emotional maturity. And that is what allows Scorpio moon peeps energy to become profound instead of destructive and destructive. Now let's talk about Scorpio Venus signs paired up with another Scorpio Venus peep, okay? And I'm not going to waste any time here. I will be transparent by saying that this couple can be incredibly magnetic. Okay, you see, Venus represents attraction and it represents affection and values. Okay, so like two Scorpio Venus peeps can both crave depth, loyalty, emotional honesty, and of course, intense intimacy. They may not be satisfied with a relationship that is purely casual or superficial, okay? They both may want to know what their partner really feels. They may want like emotional exclusivity, and they may want a relationship where both people feel completely chosen. So sexually and romantically speaking, this can create like serious chemistry between these two, which inevitably spills over into the bedroom. But here's where Scorpio Venuses have emotional problems, okay, if they're not evolved. So both need to learn that, like, they need to not be possessive of each other, okay? They need to learn to value each other and not control each other. And like there is a difference between like loyalty and surveillance in a relationship. There's a difference between like intimacy and emotional dependency. And an evolved Scorpio Venus person might say, I choose you and I trust you. Now, an unevolved Scorpio Venus might say something like, you know what, I choose you, therefore I need to know where you are at all times. And I need to know who you're talking to, okay? And I need to know what you meant by that emoji you just sent me like 12 minutes ago. And like, you know, who are you talking to? Who are you texting? Okay. So yeah, that little blue bubble, emoji blue bubble, can cause so much emotional havoc in people's relationships, even more so than like planets in retrograde. Now, Scorpio Mars with Scorpio Mars, this is where like the temperature can like start rising swiftly. So listen to this, you guys. Mars is all about taking action. It represents sexuality, it represents desire, competition, and how you show your anger in a relationship and how assertive you can be. And Scorpio is like traditionally ruled by Mars. So Mars in Scorpio is particularly concentrated. It's a concentrated expression of Martian energy. Two people with Scorpio Mars can have tremendous physical chemistry. They can have incredible stamina, unrelenting determination, and extreme ambition. They can also understand each other's need to pursue goals, like strategically speaking. They may be incredibly powerful when they work together instead of against each other. So again, imagine two Scorpio Mars people in a relationship and deciding they are going to build a business together or transform their finances or renovate a house or like accomplish some massive goal together. Okay, just imagine that, if you will. They may keep going long after everyone else has quit. But if they turn that same energy against each other, it's going to be like, Houston, we have a serious problem here. I say that because you have two people who may both hate losing. They both hate being controlled, and they both remember everything. So like an argument from like 2019 may suddenly just make a surprise appearance in 2026, like one of them will say to the other, hey, by the way, why were you discussing today's disagreement? You know, while we're doing that, why don't we just like talk about what you said to me back in like on October 14th at approximately like 8:37 p.m. So then what happens is the other Scorpio is just like sitting there like internally thinking to themselves, you remembered the time? Dang. So yes, they most certainly remember the time, you guys. Folks, Scorpio behavior, okay, that is just like total Scorpio behavior for you. Now, the evolved Scorpio eventually realizes that keeping a permanent archive of like somebody's mistakes is not the same thing as healing. Now, let's talk about Scorpio in Mercury, peeps. Mercury describes communication, thinking, and information, or processing information. Now, so two people with Mercury and Scorpio may both naturally look beneath the surface of everything, especially if it's giving like suspicious vibes. They may notice inconsistencies in each other's words, actions, or tone of voice, you know, expressions. They may tend to be excellent investigators. They may communicate like directly about subjects that, of course, other people totally avoid. They may have like incredible conversations together about psychology, spirituality, sexuality, secrets, trauma, you know, you name it, transformation, money, power, the occult mysteries of life. These two can literally talk for hours. But there is another side of this. Okay. You see, if both people are suspicious of each other, like all the time, communication between them can turn into a bloody circus of cross-examinations. Like for example, one or both may say out loud to the other, "Hey, babe, where were you yesterday when I tried calling you at 12 p.m.?" Or they may like suspiciously ask each other, "Hey, what did you mean by that? You're trying to start a fight. Like, I mean, are you trying to be like a wise guy here or what?" And why did you pause before answering my yes or no question? And babe, why the heck did you look at me like that? And you know what, my dragon pups, at some point, the other person is going to say something like, "I was just literally looking for my keys." Now let's do a 180 here, okay? With an evolved Scorpio and Mercury person, okay, let's see what they do. Okay, so they will tend to use perception to understand, they will to understand rather than accuse, okay? And there is a big, huge distinction there. Now, Scorpio rising peeps, okay? The Scorpio ascendant energy can become extremely visible in the way they approach life. Okay, the ascendant relates to the way we meet the world, right? Or instinctive approach on how we enter into our experiences. Two Scorpio risings may recognize each other's guardedness immediately. They may both observe before like participating. They may also dislike being pressured into revealing themselves too quickly. And they just might have that wonderful Scorpio ability to sit quietly next to each other in like a public outing or setting while everybody else around them is like talking and jibber jabbering away. And somehow both will still leave that public setting knowing everybody else's business. But you know what? Nobody will know a dang thing about either one of them, okay? But again, emotional maturity matters in this Scorpio rising duo. So for the evolved Scorpio rising peeps, observation becomes wisdom, especially when it is combined with compassion. Otherwise, observation becomes judgment if they're unevolved. Now let's talk about two people who both have Pluto in Scorpio and are coupled up. And you know what? I want to take this like deeper into Pluto. So check this out. Modern Western astrology tends to associate Pluto with Scorpio and themes of transformation and power and destruction. Oh, and of course, rebirth. When Pluto is strongly involved in synastry, astrologers often interpret this relationship as psychologically intense and transformative, okay? And two people with strong Scorpio signatures may experience relationships that can completely change who they are. They may meet each other during periods of major life transitions, and they may force each other to confront their fears. They also tend to expose patterns that were buried, okay? They may like challenge each other to become spiritually and emotionally stronger too. And this is why some Scorpio relationships don't feel like ordinary relationships at all, okay? But rather they feel like chapters in your life. You don't simply remember the person. It's more like you remember who you became because of their physical presence in your life. But here's something I want everybody watching to understand. Intensity does not automatically equal compatibility. Let me repeat that, because this is one of the biggest mistakes people tend to make in astrology. Intensity does not automatically equal compatibility. Obsession is not automatically love, and jealousy is not automatically passion. Anxiety is not automatically intuition, and sexual chemistry is not automatically a soulmate contract. Listen, I'm going to be brutally honest here. Sometimes a relationship feels incredibly intense because it is triggering unresolved emotional patterns. That is why we look at the entire synastry chart instead of declaring somebody your soulmate because you both have Scorpio sun signs. Okay. Now, let's bring in the esoteric and Kabbalistic layer, because honestly, this is where Scorpio becomes even more fascinating. Are y'all sitting down? Okay, so check this out. The Kabbalah Center associates Scorpio with the Hebrew month of Shesvan, and they describe it as the left column water sign, with Mars and Pluto associated with its energies, okay? It also reveals that the Book of Formation identifies Mars as Scorpio's ruling planet, while Pluto is a later modern addition. Kabbalistic astrology emphasizes the traditional 7 planets. Now, pay attention to this. The Kabbalah Center also describes Scorpio as a paradoxical energy involving water and fire, with water representing sharing and mercy, while the fire energy represents judgment. And I absolutely love that symbolism when talking about 2 Scorpios in love or in a relationship together, because Scorpio can contain enormous emotional depth, but it also has a capacity to become extremely judgmental when they truly believe something is wrong. Think about what happens when you put 2 people with that archetypal energy together. Can you picture it? Can you picture these 2 Scorpio energies uniting in your mind? Can you imagine it? Okay, so listen, if both are operating from fear, from a place of fear, they will tend to judge each other fiercely. If both are operating from ego, they will tend to display competitive behaviors towards each other. So in other words, if both are operating from a place of emotional control or dominance, they can emotionally and physically suffocate each other. But if both are operating from consciousness or 100% self-awareness, something completely different tends to happen. What I have experienced is this: both Scorpio peeps can totally help each other transform and become better people. And get this, the Kabbalistic symbolism surrounding Scorpio also emphasizes the idea of moving through darkness and confronting what is hidden rather than avoiding it. Now, the Kabbalah Center describes Scorpio as a time associated with transformation and inner growth. And another Kabbalistic teaching that I have studied describes Scorpio's internal water as having tremendous potential that must be directed rather than allowed to become a flood. And that is one of the most beautiful ways to understand Scorpio relationships. In other words, water can be very nourishing, right? Water can also be very healing. And furthermore, water can cleanse. But water can also flood and cause great traumatic, catastrophic damage. So this means, and leads me to this next bit. This is very important, okay? 2 Scorpios occupying the same space need to learn how to direct their emotional power rather than allowing it to overwhelm the relationship, okay? You don't want that to happen. Okay, my dragon pups, let's talk about the evolved Scorpio, because this is the whole key, right? Look, an evolved Scorpio doesn't stop being intense, okay? They just learn how to use their intensity. They don't stop being private either. They learn the difference between privacy and secrecy. Evolved Scorpios don't stop being passionate either, okay? They just learn how to separate passion from being like possessive, okay? They don't stop being intuitive either. They learn the difference between great intuition and, of course, fear. They also don't stop having personal boundaries. They just learn the difference between boundaries and brick walls. And you know what else? They don't stop remembering who has betrayed them over the expanse of their lifetime, okay? They won't forget. What they do is learn what to do with the memories, okay? And get this, they don't stop wanting control over their own lives. They just simply learn that controlling another human being is not the same thing as creating security or emotional security. All of what I just stated is the Scorpio evolution. And when two people have reached that level of emotional and spiritual maturity or transformation, two Scorpios, united or married, can be extraordinary, like an unbreakable soul bond. And in addition to that, these two people can become incredibly loyal to each other. They can protect each other's vulnerabilities. They can build anything together. They can survive crises together. I also need to add for privacy, and they can have profound emotional and physical intimacy. These two amazing Scorpio peeps can encourage one another to face things other couples might tend to avoid. They can become a true power couple because both people are willing to deep and work hard and transform through it all. But there is one condition I must share, and that is neither person can make the other person responsible for healing every wound they have ever carried or endured. In other words, your partner can support your healing, but they cannot do your healing work for you, okay? And that's a huge distinction that I have to make here. I had to bring it to your attention, okay? So look, if both Scorpios understand that, the relationship can become incredibly strong. Now, here's something else I want you to remember, okay? When you're comparing two Scorpio charts, look at the other signs. A Scorpio sun with like a Libra moon is going to emotionally operate differently from like a Scorpio sun with a Scorpio moon. Okay, and a Scorpio Venus placement with a Sagittarius energy will approach love completely different from a Scorpio and Venus with like Capricorn energy there. And a Scorpio in Mars with Cancer energies will express desire and anger differently from a Scorpio Mars in Scorpio. Okay, so when somebody asks me, are Scorpio and Scorpios like compatible? My answer is, show me their charts first, okay? Because astrology is not a one sign personality test. It is symbolic, it's a symbolic system involving the entire chart. We want to look at the moon for emotional compatibility. We want to look at Venus for attraction and relationship values. We want to look at Mars for desire, sexuality, conflict, and of course, pursuit. We need to also look at Mercury for like communication styles, okay? We need to look at Saturn for long-term commitment and responsibility and that sort of thing. Now, the ascendant in its ruler for how like each person approaches life. Pluto, we look at Pluto for like deeper transformational dynamics between the two people. And then we look at the actual aspects between the charts, okay? And that's where synastry becomes much more interesting. You see, a Scorpio sun person might have tremendous compatibility with another Scorpio sun person. But if their moons or Venus, Mercury's, or Mars placements constantly clash, the relationship may be far more complicated than the sun signs suggest. Conversely, two people may have different sun signs, but incredible moon, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn connections that create extraordinary compatibility, okay? So don't let somebody tell you, oh, you're both Scorpio sun signs, so you'll either be perfect or terrible together. That's astrology like with a hammer, okay? Because look, real synastry uses a microscope. And I hear you barking, big dog, so let's answer the big question I hear you all asking out there, okay? And that is two Scorpios together a good love match? And you know what, my dear hearts out there? I have to say, yes, they are. Especially when we're talking about evolved Scorpios, okay? In fact, this can potentially be one of the most loyal, the most passionate, psychologically intimate, and let's not forget transformative pairings in all of astrology, okay? But the relationship has to move from power struggle to shared power, from suspicion to trust, from possession to devotion, from emotional reactions to emotional mastery. Because let's be real for just a second here, okay? Two Scorpios don't need to spend their relationship proving who is stronger, okay? They need to discover what they can create together, okay? And here's my favorite way to put it. Two unevolved Scorpios can become each other's trigger. But on the flip side of all of that negative dynamics, okay, is that two evolved Scorpios can become each other's transformation. And that's the difference, okay? The lower expression says, I know your weakness. The higher expression says, I know your vulnerability and I will protect it. The lower expression says, I need emotional control over you. The higher expression says, I trust myself enough to let go of what I cannot control. The lower expression says, I will never forget what you did to me. The higher expression says, I learned from what happened, and now I decide what happens next. And so that is truly Scorpio at its highest expression. Scorpio isn't like simply the sign of darkness. Okay, Scorpio is the sign that teaches us what can emerge after the darkness. And when two evolved Scorpios like come together, they can become something incredibly powerful. Because look, neither one is terrified of transformation. They can go into the difficult places together. They can tell each other the truth. They can rebuild after difficult experiences and challenges. They can love fiercely without needing to possess each other. They can maintain boundaries without building emotional prisons. And get this, they can be very private without being secretive. They can also be passionate without being destructive. And they can turn two incredibly powerful, like individual energies into one powerful partnership. So if you are a Scorpio watching this and you're evolved or involved with another Scorpio, I want you to tell me, like in the comments or in chat box, is it heaven or hell? Are you two ridiculously compatible? Are you constantly triggering each other? Or do you finish each other's sentences or have like telepathy going on? Or do you both go like silent and wait for the other person to apologize first? And if you know your moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, and rising signs, go ahead, put those in the comments too. I'm going to try to remember them all. That's literally where the conversation is going to like get interesting if you guys put that stuff in the chat box. Okay. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching this. If you have questions, this is the time to put them in the chat box in all caps for me. Okay. And I just want to go ahead and check the chat, see who showed up, who's rocking things. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna get where's my glasses? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna grab my tea over here. I didn't take very many tea breaks. Did I take any tea breaks? I don't remember if I took any tea breaks, you guys. Anyways, we got concerned in the house. And you're talking about food, concerned. All right, you guys have any questions, comments, thoughts? You know what? Wait, what's going on here? It wouldn't let me scroll up. Okay, we have concerned in the house. I'm scrolling back up, you guys, so give me a second because I think, wow, it's been busy. The chat box been busy while I was prattling away. Oh, yeah. So Concern says, I think all my friends on this chat know by now that my wife is a triple Scorpio. Woo! And that seemed to have worked out for 36 years. That is awesome. I think that's wonderful. Congratulations. That is just, I love hearing stuff like that. I just absolutely love it. Rob says, Spirit wakes me up in time, was taking a 4:20 nap. Yay. You woke up in time, Rob. Also, okay, Concern says, also, if anyone thinks that a Scorpio and Scorpio relationship is going to be calm and blissful, then you simply don't understand the Scorpio dynamic. I know. I watched my grandparents, who were both Scorpios, and they, of course, they stayed together for like, holy smokestacks, until my grandma passed away. So they were basically married for like 75 years, but they were both Scorpios. And I watched how intense they were. Like, yeah, but there was a lot, but you know what? Yeah. My grandpa, though, boy, his Scorpio temper. Whew. Anyways, they both were intense people, very intense. I mean, it was just like when you come into their home, it's just like you feel that intensity immediately. I didn't care because I had this very dominant Scorpio energy, so I felt right at home. I didn't think anything of it. Everyone else was like, oh my God, you know. But I understood them completely. I had no issues. Like I always got along with them just fine. I understood them. I understood their energies. I vibed with them. You know, I thought the intensity was awesome. I just was like, cool. You know, so yeah. But yeah, there was, oof. You see two Scorpios together, it was like, oh my God. Woo! You can cut the intensity with a knife, like good or bad intensity. It's there, you guys. Opal Stevens, hello. I'm glad you made it. Okay, so Scott, what's this $9.99 up here? It just showed up out of nowhere. What's $9.99? Can someone tell me? Miriam, hi Miriam. So glad you made it. Opal, Stephen, Scorpio, Sun, Mercury, and Saturn here. All right. You're rocking that Scorpio energy, Opal. I love it. I can feel your energies. By the way, you guys, I do. Like, I can totally feel the Scorpio energies through the screen. Rob says, my Scorpio ex-girlfriend needed to heal her childhood traumas. She wasn't ready for a committed long-term relationship. Yeah, I can totally understand that, Rob. 100%. Yeah. So Mercury here crawled out to talk about it. Let's see. Rob says, I'm 41. She's the same age as me, but that failed relationship was in 2016. Oh. Yeah, when people haven't dealt with their childhood traumas, oh my gosh, it wreaks havoc in any relationship that you try to have. And so, like, I always tell people, look, if you're pretty sure you have some unchecked childhood traumas, you haven't dealt with them, don't just do yourself a favor and do everyone else a favor, but of course yourself. Don't try to have an intimate relationship with somebody. You know, take care of yourself first. That's the most important thing. You know, I mean, it's the right thing to do. But I know so many people who don't do that and they just rush into another relationship. I'm like, oh my gosh, they haven't even dealt with their childhood traumas, let alone now all of the pain that they just endured and an intimate relationship that they just left. What in the world are people doing? They're taking all of that trauma and crap with them into another relationship. What are you thinking? Like, you think that another relationship is going to heal you? It's not. You have to do the work yourself. Like, I don't understand that. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But Rob says, let me to watching tarot card reading to help heal my broken heart and gain clarity over the situation. Broken heart? You still have a broken heart, Rob Smiley? Rob? Scott says, same here. Concern. Oh my gosh, in my relationship, I never really thought about the transformation that you just mentioned, Julianne, but I can verify that that's exactly what happened in my relationship. Awesome. Isn't that cool? I'm making you reflect on your relationship. That's so cool. I think that's like the most important thing that two Scorpios can bring to each other, is really helping each other transform their spiritual and emotional lives, just become better people, on like an emotional and spiritual level, of course. But yeah, it's, that's like two Scorpios together are going to be holding up mirrors in front of each other, right? But it's natural, usually, okay, speaking, it's very natural for Scorpios to want to transform and evolve. Okay, now if you have somebody who just has Scorpio sun sign, but everything else in their chart is like Sagittarius, or and then with some Libra in there, and Leo and Aquarius and Gemini, not so much. Okay. Then you have other energies that are going to be probably a lot more dominant than your sun sign. Depending on, I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, there's so many different ways it can go. But if you've got a stellium of Scorpio, especially if the stellium includes some of your big 3 placements or your big 5, I like to say the big 5 are the most important. And that, of course, is your sun, moon, rising, and your Mars and Venus. And I have to include Mercury in there too. Okay, so let's just say your big 6. I forgot about Mercury. Your big 6. Some people say the big 7. Okay, but I'm like 6. That's just me personally. I'm different. So yeah, especially if you've got that Scorpio energy, or you have Scorpio. The 7th would be Scorpio and Pluto. Okay. So I guess 7. Let's just go with 7. That sounds better. I keep changing, you guys. I forget about the Scorpio Pluto. What am I thinking? Okay, so anyways, you guys, I'm having an issue with myself right now. Okay, so Rob says, you guys are the best. I really look forward to these moments. I do too. I think it's great. Scott says, the Scorpio woman was so dark, I had no idea what I was dealing with. It was like I was under a spell. So Scott, you're a Scorpio sun. Am I right? You guys need to help remind me all the time so it sticks in my head, because repetition will help things stick. So Scott, you are Scorpio sun, but are you saying that you dated a Scorpio woman but she was really dark? That is not shocking to me at all to hear, because all you out there, especially for Scorpios, the Scorpios are either all the way dark and bad, and I use the word bad loosely, okay? All the way dark and black, or all the way white, and light. Okay, so there's like no gray area there. Seriously. And Scorpios are natural sorcerers, okay? They're the most powerful, okay? I think Pisces and Virgos also make great sorcerers, but Scorpio is very powerful. Yeah, so if she's dabbling in witchcraft or all that, then she can learn to be very powerful and we all are casting spells on each other and ourselves, but if you are deliberately doing it, that's a different story. A lot of times we're unconsciously casting spells on each other, but when you are deliberately harnessing your energies and doing certain things, and it's deliberate and you have self-awareness and you know what you're doing, completely different dynamic there. So Concern says dragon pups must have low dragon pups. I call them dragon pups. Must have low blood sugars, because we all get hungry about halfway through our meetings here. Do I all make you hungry? Woo! That's some power there. Lance says North Node, Mercury, Uranus. Okay. So that's your Scorpio placements. I know you've told me your placements many times, Lance, and because everyone is telling me all their placements, I'm really trying to keep you all straight. So you're going to have to keep telling me again and again. And one of these days, I'll have it all squared away. Like, I'll remember everything. There's so many of you I have to remember. So you'll have to try to be patient with me. Let's see. I'm looking for questions now. I don't see any caps. I saw a $9.99 and I'm like, where did it go? That was weird, you guys. Like there was like this yellow box that popped up right here and it said $9.99. And I'm like, where did the $9.99 come from? And then I was gone. I'm like, I've never seen anything like that before. If you guys know what that means, because I sure the heck don't. That was weird. I'm like, are they charging me $9.99 or what? So, okay. Rob says, Mama Bear is dropping golden nuggets of wisdom. Who's Mama Bear? Is Action Hank? Oh, hi, Action Hank. How you doing? Oh, my God. Yeah, welcome to the Scorpio Meet Scorpio party. So Action Hank says, I always was attracted to dragons images as a kid, even now. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Who doesn't love dragons? Like, you have to be some kind of different if you don't like dragons, or if you're at least not curious, about dragons. They don't pique your curiosity. And dragons are, dinosaurs is a dragon. I mean, it's the same thing. You guys who thought, no, dinosaurs are dragons. Anyways, thought I'd put that out there. Still no questions. So, Action, hey, did you say anything? I even got a dragon tattoo, my first. Oh, wow. So you actually have a dragon tattoo. That's pretty cool. Where is your dragon tattoo located, Action Hank? I'm just going to call you Hank, if you don't mind. If that bothers you, you can let me know. Scott says, I tried to send you a super chat for $9.99. Oh, it's you, Scott. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay. Oh, so that's why it popped up. Oh, thank you so much, Scott. I'm not seeing it right now, but I know that they pop up, and I think if you actually were sending me something, then like it stays up there for a while, and then like it vanishes. So I'm sure that I received it, but I had never seen anything like that before. So thank you so much, Scott. You're awesome. All the support you guys give me is just so appreciated, and I cherish you guys so much. But yeah, thank you so much, Scott. And I appreciate you saying that, because I'm just like, I don't know what in the world is going on with that $9.99. So, I was like in the dark. Opal Stevens, as a Scorpio, I am not afraid of the dark. Yeah, exactly. You know what? I was just like you, Opal, for like my whole life. I loved the dark. Didn't matter what. I loved sleeping in like pure darkness and all that. But things changed for me when I had some really, I'm not going to talk about it on here right now, but I had some experiences back when I was 37 that changed everything for me. But up until that point, oh my gosh, yeah, like it had to be pitch dark in my room for me to sleep. Like I love like going out at night when it's pitch dark and just walking around, like no lights, no flashlights, just walking around in the dark. And now it's just like, no, but that's only because I had certain things happen to me that I'm just not going to share yet on here. But yeah, let's see here. But I can totally relate with you. I used to love the dark, like really pitch dark, 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 dark. I like dark things, like not like evil things. There's a difference between darkness and evil, you guys. I think I see darkness as peace. Everything is so peaceful and calm and quiet. It's like a place where you can come into solitude, you guys. And darkness is not equal evilness. And that's where people need to get things straight. Completely different words. I mean, completely different things. So anyways, yeah. King Capri, YouTube took the $9.99. Yeah, so the $9.99 gets credited to my channel, but YouTube takes a tiny portion of it and I get the rest. I think they get like, during a live, I get a big chunk of it. I'm trying to remember what it is. They get like 10% or something like that. They take like 10% of whatever you guys send me, and then I get the rest. But I'll have to look in that again, but I believe it's 10%. So we got Smile Philosophy in the house. Hello, Smile Philosophy. How are you doing? You having a great Sunday? You staying cool out there? Cool like a cucumber? Okay, so I see you have things in caps. So Scorpio haven't problem with dark, devil, etc. persons. That dark have problems if Scorpio in don't good emotional. Okay, Small Philosophy. I'm kind of getting what you're saying there. Scorpios don't have a problem with darkness, right? But you think the darkness might have a problem if Scorpio is not doing good emotionally? I think that's what you're trying to say, but you can tell me if I'm on point there. Fizio Flint, what does Scorpio in Jupiter do? Well, Jupiter's all about expansion and whatever, expanding knowledge and philosophy. So Scorpio in Jupiter. Okay, so you're going to take the Mars energy, now combine that with Jupiter's energy. Okay, so because Jupiter is going to expand on everything. That's a larger than life energy right there. You know, like that's like almighty God energy. Okay. Where you've got the philosopher for like, okay, so like if you're a woman and you're looking at your natal birth chart, you're going to want to look at your Jupiter placement. That's like your husband type energy for a woman. Okay. So I would say like if a Scorpio energy is in that Jupiter placement or whatever, that's going to be a really good energy to have there, because Scorpios do make great, especially when they're evolved, of course. Scorpios do actually make great partners. So I believe that is a really good placement for Scorpio and Jupiter. So there might be some conflict there a little bit. You know, so, but overall, like I believe, personally speaking, okay, and everything that I've researched, that's a pretty good placement to have Scorpio in. So everything is going to be like the Jupiter energy is going to take everything and expand on it. You know, some people might think it's detrimental, but I'm like, it depends on if you've got an evolved Scorpio energy. Okay. And that really is what it all boils down to, because Scorpio energy can either be used for destruction or it can be used for, you know, healing and creating and, you know, building. And, you know, so that's what I really look at the most when I'm looking at Scorpio energy, whether it's in Jupiter or any other sign, is like, is this an evolved person? You know, is this evolved Scorpio energy? Because if it's not, it seems to be a detriment no matter what. Okay. No matter if it's in conjunction with Jupiter or not. Okay. So, but yeah. Okay. But I do think that's a good placement. I mean, I think it is. Because I can say that because I understand Scorpio energy 100%. I mean, I vibe with it. I understand it. I recognize it. But somebody who's not big on Scorpio energy or doesn't have a lot of Scorpio energy, they might be like, heck no, I don't want, you know, so like, yeah, there's, so if you're new to my channel, again, if you have any questions, please put all your questions in caps so it stands out and hits me in the face. I really appreciate it if you can do that for me. We have, it's Queen V. Hi, it's Queen V. How are you doing? Is this your first time to my channel? If it is, I want to say a big welcome, and I'm so glad you're here. And thank you for chiming in and letting me know that you're actually here watching. I appreciate that so much. It's Queen V. I like that. That's cool. If there's a different name you'd like me to call you, let me know, okay? And oh, let me ask you, it's Queen V. Are you a Scorpio sun? Let's see here. I'm looking for questions, looking for. So Rob says, I don't want a girlfriend. I want a life partner. There you go. Exactly. Rob says, I want a divine counterpart. Exactly. I think a lot of people do, especially Scorpios. King Capri, knowledge of the hidden. Dave Cavity, I'm holding out for a AI robot, Rob. What? Dave, you're holding out for an AI robot? What the heck? Oh, hilarious. Scott says, yeah, a life partner. Is that too much to ask for? Yeah, it's not, you know, you have to kind of look at things differently. If you really want something, if you really, really, really desire something, like I was speaking about yesterday, whoever like showed up in the chat yesterday, I talked a lot about how to manifest or create your world or reality. It is a process. It's not like some people can actually teach themselves, and switch and learn to be a master manifester, like in a short amount of time. But if you have a lot of very strong programming and a lot of strong beliefs that seem to be so ingrained, like since you were a kid, it takes a little longer to like reprogram yourself and change the way you're thinking and change the way you view yourself and all that. For some people it's quick, for some people it's not. I know it took me years to finally really evolve into being 100% self-aware and then becoming all aware and then learning how to transmute energy. That took almost 5 decades, you guys. And that was me seeking it out. That was me wanting to know. That was me seeking out how to learn how to create my own world and become a better, more evolved person spiritually. So just imagine, like, there's so many people out there who don't give a poop. They don't give a rat's dilly poo-poo whether they spiritually evolve. They literally are helping other people create their own dreams. They're just walking around under everyone else's spell. Okay? They're helping everyone else realize their dreams. They're just walking around like a zombie under a spell. So yeah, it is a process. One of these days, I'll just do a live stream on just that, like solely on like the steps to take and how to do it, how to start, learning how to go about getting your thoughts in order and manifest your dreams. Okay. And your dreams can be better health. It could be wanting to be a millionaire. It can be, of course, wanting a certain person for a soulmate, life partnership, career, whatever. Okay. It can be anything and everything. It can be the way you look. You can change the way you look. Anything and everything you can imagine. I might just have to do that. So, okay, I see a question. It's in caps. Thank you, Izzy Flint. Does it matter what deacon we are? Well, it's not that it's a big deal. It actually does matter because each deacon has an added influence of another planet. So, an energy influence. So if you're like a first deacon Scorpio, I'll just say this, that's a really good question. You're just going to have your energies, of course, solely from Pluto and Mars. Okay. You are first deacon. You are the purest form and energy of Scorpio. You don't have any additional added influences of other planets. Now, if you are a second deacon. Now you've got the added influence. Sorry, you guys, you got the added influence. Now you're like, you're Scorpio with a Pisces. So then you've got the added influence of Neptune and Jupiter to add to the mix. Okay. Then if you are a third deacon Scorpio, you of course have the added influence of the moon, because now you got your Scorpio Cancer. Okay. And so it actually does make a difference. I see a big difference in, like, my daughter, she's a first deacon Scorpio, as opposed to like a third deacon Scorpio, where you've got the added influence of Cancer energies, or the moon energies is more specific. Okay. And I definitely see a difference. I literally can tell the difference between each deacon. Okay. I really can, but maybe some people can't. And so in a way, it really does matter, because like a third deacon Scorpio is going to be a little bit different than a first deacon Scorpio. Like, seriously. And I just love my first deacon daughter. Oh my God. She was just like, seriously, she's a first deacon Scorpio. She's got 4 other Scorpio placements. So she's a major Scorpio stellium. And she was like easiest baby to ever exist. I mean, she was just so easy. She was an angel. Like, she was just so easy to raise, so easy to deal with. I just, yeah. She was my sweetheart, like, literally. And then comes along my gorgeous son, who's Gemini with the Taurus moon. And he was pretty easy too. But yeah, they both actually were really easy. My son looked like an angel. Like, I was so afraid someone was going to steal him, because he came out looking so perfect skin, perfect golden locks. I mean, he literally looked like an angel. I'm like, and everyone said that, the doctors and nurses were like, oh my God, your son looks like an angel. And I'm just like, oh, I held him so tight. I'm like, you stay away. I was like, you stay away from my son. I was so afraid someone was going to steal him from me. It was crazy, you guys, how perfect looking my son was. Anyways. I don't even want to think about it, because, man, when I start thinking about, like, how protective I was of my son, oh my God. Whew. Yeah. Okay. I'm scrolled down, you guys. Didn't see any other. I'm going to scroll right back up, because I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody who's new here, or anybody has any shout outs, any important things to say about, like, a Scorpio involved with another Scorpio, or questions. Don't see any other. So yeah, I really do believe that 2 Scorpios together can absolutely be either the most incredible, most powerful, sexual, amazing, like, affectionate, like, just like off the Richter scale relationship or experience ever, or it could be a train wreck, like a utter disaster. Okay. I don't see gray area when it comes to Scorpios with other Scorpios. I don't see gray there. I see, like, incredible intensity, and it's mostly good with some challenges, of course, but then I see, like, the opposite, like chaos and a train wreck. Like, yeah, because Scorpios don't do gray, you guys. There's no gray. They're like, gray, what the heck is that? I don't even know what that word means. So, anyways, you guys are awesome. We have Bobby Mama. Oh no, is this Bobby Mama? You're not Scorpio Mama, are you? Because we have a Scorpio Mama. Are you Scorpio Mama? Because we have Bobby Mama, and now we have, okay, so we had Scorpio Mama, now we have Bobby Mama, and I don't know if you're the same person, but okay, cool. Let me read what you have to say. I will choose random, as I have only found undirectional dumbos till now, so I will get along any human, I guess. Okay. It's pretty silly. Oh my goodness. Well, hi, Bobby Mama. Welcome to my channel. And again, Scott, thank you so much for that super chat. Oh, it's showing up right here. I just want to let you know, Scott, it just shows up like briefly at the top, but then like when I scrolled all the way back up, it's right here. So yay, thank you so much. You're awesome. Big hugs. I appreciate all the super chats and everything, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and like get off of here. But before I do, I'll check the chat one more time just make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions. Trying to go slowly now because I really feel bad if I do miss somebody, if they actually have a question for me. Concern says, I think Dave Cavity is onto something. You can order an AI partner and specify the production date to get the astrology sign you want. Oh my God. Now that is hilarious, Concerned. Oh my God. You can get an AI robot that is produced during a certain month to get a certain sign. Oh, that is hilarious. I love that. Concern you just did Dave Cavity mention that? Oh my God, you guys are hilarious. Oh my. Action Hank said that was my daughter, Gemini sun. Oh, okay. So your daughter's a Gemini sun? Yeah. So yeah, my son was he is a Gemini sun. I have to look at his chart again. Darn it. I'm trying to remember my kids' charts too. I have my daughter's down a little bit more because she has tons. She's like flooded with Scorpio everywhere in her chart. Like she's like a true blue, almost 100% Scorpio in her chart. She has a little sprinkle of Leo and Pisces in there. But my son, why can't I remember his rising sign? See, I know when they were born and I know what city they, so I mean, I know their charts, but anyway, so yeah. Gemini energy is like, I've met some amazing Geminis where I can have some pretty darn good conversations, but then there's Geminis who don't really talk about anything important, but they just love to talk, just to talk. They just talk and talk and talk forever. Especially when they're unhappy and stuff. But I think Geminis are really fun to be around. But the thing is that with my experience with Geminis is they're not trustworthy. You know, they kind of seem like they are, but they're not. They're like, they go after the newest, flashiest thing. And like, if you happen to be their best friend, you're usually their best friend for that month. And then something newer and shinier comes along, and then they all of a sudden you just kind of drop out of their, you know, they might circle back around when they get tired of the new shiny person that came along. But you know, with air signs, I enjoy the conversations probably more than anything about Geminis. And they actually can be quite fun to be around, but like on an intimate level, like I'm talking about intimate relationships and intimate level soulmate, I'm just like, no, I can't do air signs at all, you guys. I have way too much water, way too much Scorpio energy. I just don't do well with in an intimate setting. I get along with everybody, but when it comes to like a intimate relationship, I just don't do well with air signs. I don't do well with Aquarius. I don't do well with Libras, but like on a friendship basis, good to go. Friendship basis, that sort of thing, good to go. When it comes to anything more than that, no way, Jose. No go for this Scorpio energy person. No, not going to go there. I had to learn the hard way, unfortunately. I'd much rather be with fire signs than air signs. Like, but I do prefer, I think overall, you guys, I think earth signs, and then of course other Scorpios, I get along with the best as far as like intimate relationships. So Dave Cavity, I ordered 2 lesbian AI robots. They won't have anything to do with me. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. And when did you order these lesbian robots? I'd like to know. Oh my God, you guys are too much. You're too much. Scott says, I had a relationship worse with an Aquarius and it was too shallow. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah. It's very difficult to get emotionally deep with an Aquarius or even a Gemini, but Aquarius, especially Aquarius, more than Gemini. But even when I tried to have deep conversations with either my son or my dad, and my dad's a double Gemini. He's like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. He's he's Gemini sun, Gemini moon, like double that Gemini. And I'm just like, Dad, I admire you. You know, you're a hard worker, you know, good morals, but that Gemini, you got to squash that a little bit. But anyways, yeah, I could never really truly express my emotions with him. He always put me down. He always made me feel inferior, you know. And if I ever did try to express my intense emotions or whatever, okay, he was like, you need to just settle down. You're just too intense. You're just too this, you're too that. And, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, he literally, you know, later on just said, look, I can't go emotionally deep like that. I don't have that level of emotional depth like you do. He literally admitted it to me, you know. He says, I don't have that level of, um, what was the word he used? Basically it was a level of emotions. Like he doesn't have those sort of feelings, like, and depth. And so it was really good that he could acknowledge that. Kudos for you, Dad. But at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Anyways, you guys, yeah, air signs, just, I can't do air signs. I just, no. Especially if it's in a moon placement. Especially if it's in a moon placement, like, oh no. If someone has like Gemini moon, Aquarius moon, I think I could deal with Libra moon. I can do a Libra moon, but Aquarius and Gemini moons, no way. No, can't do that. But I think a little bit of Libra energy is not bad at all. I can jive with Libra energy as long as it's not overpowering in their chart. As long as it's just a little sprinkle of Libra, okay, I can deal with that. But no, no. and I can't do Sagittarius moon signs either. No. And even and Leo moons, no. I think, you know, Leo risings I can do. I can tolerate Leo risings. I can tolerate Leo, and generally I can tolerate the Leo energy as long as, like I said, if it's not overpowering. They can't outshine my Leo energy. Just saying. Anyways, so yeah. Rob says, I will never date a Libra moon, right? I have never dated a Libra moon, but I have known people that had Libra moons, and like I could deal with them, you know. But yeah, it's just if I can't get emotionally deep with somebody, there's no point in going any further, you know. Just isn't. Rob says, I've had many explosive arguments with Libra moons. Ooh, okay. But see, you have Cancer moon. So, you know, the Cancer and Libras, yeah, don't jive well. That's 2 very different emotional styles. When you got Cancer energy in your moon sign and Libra energy, that's like, yeah, gonna clash there. That doesn't sync up very well. If you're just talking about emotionally speaking, that's I can totally see how that can occur. For sure. And Action Hank says, my Aquarius dad. Oh, well, tell us some stories about your Aquarius dad. Do you butt heads a lot with him, Action Hank? And Rob says, she worships the ground I walk on. Who does? The person that you had an explosive argument with, the Libra moon person. King Capri sent my heart. Thank you, King Capri. King Capri, love you is what they all say. And I love Capricorn energy. Just saying, you guys. I love the Capricorn energy for sure. And I like the Taurus and Virgo energies as well. I think my favorite earth sign energy that I just really mesh like really, really well with is Capricorn energy. Like I just do. Ever since I was a kid, like the first guy that I ever really truly loved was a Capricorn, like tons of Capricorn energy. And we got along like, oh my God, I can't even explain. Like we just like meshed really well. He loved me. I loved him. We were only 12, you guys, but we actually did love each other and we just got along. Like it was so magical almost, you know, it was weird. But yeah, Capricorn energy. I love the Capricorn energy. They're just, you know, I think it's the fact that they're so patient. You know, they're kind, they're authentic. I don't know. There's so much about the Capricorn energy that I just absolutely adore. I absolutely need, absolutely love. I don't know. It's just one of those things. But someone that is patient and kind and listens with an open heart, you know, and doesn't like talk over you. They just literally are patient and let you just sit there and express yourself, you know, and like the earth sign, the Capricorn energy can absorb my intensity. Whereas like if I get intense with another Scorpio, if they're evolved, they totally can just sit there and take it and totally understand and vibe. And I wouldn't even have to say much anyways with another Scorpio. But like earth signs though, other than Scorpios, especially Capricorns, they just get it. They just sit there and they listen and they have so much compassion. I think and I will say this, my most favorite boss that I ever had that was over me was a Capricorn. Okay. My first true love was a Capricorn. My favorite boss in the whole world was a Capricorn. What is it about Capricorns? Anyways, so yeah. It's not a bad thing, you guys. I'm just saying the earth signs can totally absorb the intensity of Scorpios, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I am so glad you guys made it. You guys have made this such a fun day. The AI robots were lesbians. You guys, come on. You guys are making me laugh today. I love it. I just love it. I know laughing is great medicine. So Rob, you say that person was materialistic and superficial in your opinion. Yeah, see, that's another thing. And I'm not going to say this is bad, okay, because I don't like saying, I hate using the word bad. But as far as like characteristics of like Libra signs, as they can be very, very superficial. They appear to be. I'm not saying they don't have feelings, you guys, but they do come across like they're a lot more materialistic and very superficial, light and fluffy, and you know, that sort of thing. They do give that era. You know, they definitely give that aura and vibe, you know, for sure. Action Hank, when he dies, I'm going to be happy. That guy made my life hell. Oh my God, really? And he was Aquarius sun? Action Hank? Oh, you know, I'm not going to say that I feel the same way according to my mom, because she made my life a living hell too, but I also allowed it at some points. But when I got to the point where I was able to live on my own and I actually started becoming self-aware and started taking my own power back. I started literally shutting down her negative energy. And later on in life, later on in life, I started transmuting her negative energy. But I will have to say that, like, I don't wish anything bad on anybody, but I can understand what you're saying to a point, because my mom made my life and all of my sister's lives hell. Like, she made her own life hell, like literally. So everyone else lived in hell with her until we got out on our own. And I just made sure I just didn't live near her at all. Like, I was always in another country living, or another state, like opposite side of the United States as her. I tried to limit my contact with her. I basically had to emotionally divorce her many times because she lived in hell. She was comfortable living in hell. She didn't care if she was bringing everyone else down. She didn't care if she was bringing herself down. So, I mean, she had no honor for herself. And, she was abusive. She wasn't kind. She wasn't good. She wasn't loving. She wasn't anything, so, like, yeah. But yeah, I can relate with what you're saying, Action Hank. Seriously. I actually know. I can feel it. Like, seriously. Anyways, Lance, friends, fine, not very loyal as a partner. Okay, so Lance, you're saying Capricorn are good as, like, far as friends with you, but not very loyal as a partner. So yeah, that's been your experience then, right? Yeah. I actually have not had an well, I did with Luke. He was a Capricorn. We had a short relationship, but I moved so much it was hard to, like, maintain that. But since him, like, I actually haven't been with anybody that was like a Capricorn sun or Capricorn. I was with somebody, though, that did have strong Capricorn in his chart. I'm not saying every Capricorn is, going to be good to be around. I have a cousin that's a Capricorn, and I just love her to pieces. We get along great. We were, like, really, really close growing up. She was, like, one of the only cousins that I really liked. I had another cousin. She was, I believe, if I remember right, she was Leo. Oh, wow. That girl wanted attention. Like, oh my God. She was a mess. Anyway, so yeah. Action Hank, you get me. Awesome. Scott, thumbs up. All right. I love you guys. Scott says, and I had a relationship with an Aquarius, and she was way too shallow for me. I could read her like a book, fake and materialistic. Yeah. What's really interesting, Scott? I'm glad you shared that, because, like, a lot of the Aquarius people that I've spoke to over the years, over many decades, they're like, oh, Scorpios think they can read everybody, like they can fool and manipulate everyone. Well, I see right through Scorpios. And I'm just like, really? I don't know about that. I swear, Aquarius peeps, and even some Geminis, especially Geminis, even Geminis are like, oh, I see right through Scorpios games. I see right through their manipulation. I see right through, and I'm just like, really? Okay, whatever. But yeah, I've had a ton of Gemini say that they're like, yeah, Scorpios can't outwit me. Now, I have to give credit where credit's due. Geminis, not every Gemini. The Geminis that I know, like my son, he's a genius. And even though he's genius and he's got a lot of common sense and all that, I don't know what it is with Geminis thinking they could just get one over on Cancer signs or Scorpio sign or water signs in general. Like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, I mean, I can immediately see right through people's shite. immediately. Like, it doesn't even matter what sign they are. I can see right through another Scorpio. I can see right through another Cancer sign. I can see right through anybody and everybody. Like, it's just amazing to me that people are like, oh, I think I can fool a Scorpio. They're so stupid. I can fool a Pisces. They're so naive. I'm just like, oh God. They will let you think they're being naive, but they're playing emotional games, okay? So, yeah, I'm like, Pisces are so good at playing the victim, and they're so good at playing the I'm so naive card, and it's just like, they know what they're doing. And it's not games. It's just their nature, okay, to be always emotionally 10 steps ahead of everyone else. And they are very intuitive. So, yeah. Scott says, air signs are easy to read. I absolutely agree. For me, everyone, I would say 99% of everyone is easy to read, like on the spot when I first meet someone. There is that 1% where I really don't even think they're human, where I get more of like a completely different entity type of vibe, where I'm like, this is a completely different species type of vibe hiding underneath this synthetic, whatever you call it. And sometimes that's hard for me to read because I'm reading a completely different species type of vibe. But for the most part, I'm usually bang on 100% with most people. But there's always been a couple that I'm just like, I'm not taught, this is right here. This is not a human standing in front of me. No, this is not a human. And that right there, I'm just like trying to figure out what species they are instead of reading their heart or their soul, trying to figure out what species they are. Like, is this one of those synthetic humans? Oh, Lord. Okay, so we have, is this somebody new? We have Barista. Is this Barista Linus? Did I say your name right? I feel like, okay, this is what they say. I feel like there is an unspoken rivalry with Scorpio and Geminis. Yeah, absolutely. Bang on. I have to actually agree with that 100%. I actually, you know what? Now that you brought that up, I actually have always felt that, like with my son or my dad or any other Gemini, like I have another first cousin who's Gemini. And I actually always felt like there was that underlining totally unspoken rivalry energy for sure. I know my dad was always super, super, super duper competitive with me. And I'm a kid. Oh my God. Like, seriously. But yeah, you know what? I totally 100% agree with that. Right. You get me going back to my childhood memories. Raised by a double Gemini dad, Pisces Cancer mom who was not worth anything, which is sad to say, you guys. I'll never tell you who she is or anything like that. But like, yeah, she was not. The one thing I did tell her, because she did apologize for being a bad mom, like when she was in her 60s or something like that, like almost 20 years ago. She's like, I'm so sorry for being a bad mom, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciate you, actually finally, asking for forgiveness, that sort of thing. But I'm just going to say, you know what, Mom? You taught me some valuable lessons. In other words, this is what I'm trying to say. You taught me who I did not want to be, especially in terms of being like a mother to my own kids. You showed me who I will not be. You showed me who I did not want to be. Believe me, you taught me more than you'll ever know. So, yeah. And I know she probably, thought that might have been disrespectful, like internally, but she really didn't know how to respond to me saying that to her. But I was being completely honest. Okay. Like, I was just, it's the way I am, I say the truth, whether you like it or not. I try to make it to where it's not so abrasive, but I'm just going to lay it out there. But you showed me who I didn't want to be, and I absolutely am nothing like her. So, anyway, so yeah, people can show you how not to be. If you watch everyone else around you make all the mistakes, and you actually can learn from other people's mistakes, bam, you won't have to go through so much hell. So anyways, if you're actually smart enough to learn from other people's mistakes, that is, not everyone is smart enough to learn from others' mistakes or bad decisions. So I don't really even think that everything is a bad mistake. I just think that some people just don't make very good decisions. They're poor, but everything is just going to be a lesson anyways, so, but some people just never ever learn. They just don't ever grow spiritually from any of the poor decisions they've made in their lives, whether it's, it doesn't matter. It's, oh my God. It just, you can see patterns in people's lives, like they just repeat. They're like in this hamster wheel, repeating the same mistakes over and over and over. It's just like, oh, keep your damn noisy hamster wheel over there, because I'm tired of seeing it. Anyways, you guys, I love you. And I just love seeing the new people show up in the chat. Thank you so much, you guys. You have literally made this so enjoyable and so fun. I hope you also learned a little something about Scorpios and their compatibility with one another, And so I plan on going live 3 times next week. That's what I had planned, but I'm going to keep the videos a mystery. I actually am going to work on the video requests that I got from Lance and from Rob. So basically, that's what I'm probably going to be doing next week, is covering those sorts of topics that you guys requested. And then just throw in whatever else, but yeah, I'll let that just be like a mystery, you guys. So let's see. Scott says, that's the same as my ex. Okay. Action Hank says, my dad did that, apologize for being an asshole dad, but he did that to get my money because he still is an a-hole. So I made my boundaries. Oh, thank God. Yeah. Wow. I just can't believe that. Like, I mean, I can, but it's just like ridiculous. It's sad. Like your own dad trying to get money from you. Yeah. Again, you have to have strong boundaries, you guys, for sure, to deal with the people out there that A, don't have respect for themselves, B, definitely don't have respect for you. You have to have enough respect for yourself to say, I don't accept what you're doing to me. I don't accept your energies. I don't accept anything about you, period. Flee. Just flick them away. Anyways, yeah. Action Hank. My mom, a Taurus. I never grew up with her, but I love her because every time we get, she shows love to me. Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. At least see, there's something good right there. Rob says, we resonate with one another. King Capri, unfortunately, there will be mistakes. Yeah. Yeah, people just tend to make poor decisions. Yeah, it's really, it's so easy to make poor decisions, based on what you see when you're a child, based on how you were programmed as a child. And, if you weren't raised in a good environment or a loving environment where you're shown how to actually act and treat others and treat yourself and all that. Yeah, there's so much deprogramming a person has to go through if they ever want to seek that out to become self-aware, because that's where it starts. That's the beginning of change, is wanting to become self-aware. So if you're in a video game, that's one of the first things you do, right? And you need to start leveling up in a video game by becoming more and more aware. Okay. exploring, becoming more aware, gaining more knowledge as you go along, gaining new tools. You can call it weapons, but you're gaining more tools. So the more you level up in a video game, the easier it is. You can just breeze right past those damn bosses that they put in like role-playing games, right? They're there to challenge you to see how strong you are, right? So the more you are spiritually leveled up, the more you can just whip their ass, right? They can't even touch you spiritually because you've leveled the hell up, right? So, yeah, just like a video game. All right, you guys. So it starts with wanting and desiring to level up, okay? Just like in a game, right? When you're playing a video game, you're excited, you want to learn more, you want to gain more, you want to level the hell up because that damn boss that's coming up, in the next segment of the game, well, he's really big and scary and he might just kick your ass if you're not leveled up enough, right? So, well, once you are spiritually, so spiritually leveled up, which you should never, ever stop leveling up. You should always be wanting to transform and transcend your former self. You should always be wanting and desiring to spiritually level up, okay? But once you do that, once you get to certain levels, nothing can touch you. It's like that big ass scary boss, that you thought was so big and scary and intimidating. He can't even touch you. Okay, he just bounces right off of you. Your spiritual armor is so stout. Boom, just bounces right off. You just keep on going your merry way, right? And that is what you need to do. That's what I encourage you all to do. I feel sorry for those that, so I don't really, actually, I take that back. I don't really feel sorry for people who want to remain NPCs, okay? Because I really would not want everyone to wake up and know certain things, okay? Because once people with impure hearts, if they ever got their hands on certain things that I know, would not be good. Just wouldn't be good. Concern says, interline broadcast, we definitely need to provide Julianne with more examples of paranormal activity in our lives. There you go. You guys have any more paranormal activities you want to share? Maybe in my next live when I have more time. Rob says, concerned, I got my examples ready. Oh yeah, there you go. You know what? Maybe we should just do a live stream where that's all we talk about. We should just I can do like a live stream where we just talk about nothing but paranormal and spiritual, crazy stuff like that. And then I can do a separate live stream where we talk about nothing but like how to manifest your dream life, whatever it is you want to manifest, how to become a sorcerer, how to level up your spiritual life and take back your power and manifest whatever the heck you want and desire. Okay. Keep that like I just can start like doing separate lives for each one because there's a lot of information, a lot of stories that we all can tell, right? If you guys can bring your stories to the table, and then we just feed off of each other's stories, right? And we learn from each other. So I think does that sound good to you guys? What do you guys think? Let me know. Kratos kills everything. What in the world? You have to explain that to me, please. What is Kratos kills everything? Concerned. Rob says, all the ghost stuff happened to me during my childhood. It calmed down later in life. Yeah, that's weird because mine amplified the action, Hank. I love that. Oh, fire. Oh, okay. I love that. That's 100% fire. Okay. See, I have to learn how to speak emoji or read emoji, right? It's a completely different language. I'm so old school, you guys. You have to forgive me. I forgot. I got to look at the emojis too. Dang it. Otherwise, if I didn't look at those emojis, Action Hank, I'd be like, what? But yeah, well, we can do that. I'll just plan on doing that, but I'll always keep Sundays for Scorpios. I think I'm going to start doing some more Capricorn videos. And then, of course, the Scorpio. And then we just start doing the other ones. I think that would be cool, you guys. Well, I love you guys so much. And thank you for being here. And if you're here already, please don't forget to hit the like button before you bust the move out of here. And I would be really appreciative if you guys shared my videos with your friends and family or anybody who you think might like be looking for this sort of material or content or whatever you want to call it. I do know there is people out there that actually are seeking out to learn more about themselves, especially if they're Scorpios and that sort of thing. I think Scorpios are probably the only sign that really, really, really is intrigued with themselves. And I understand why, and I completely understand why, because I'm the same way. So, but yeah, if you guys do actually have some other video requests and you forgot to put them in the chat box, you can always just put them on the community post or just tell me. You can send me a short email and just say, hey, I wouldn't mind this video request. I have had people ask me to do video requests on like, the Twin Towers coming down with lasers and some other things. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really cover that sort of thing on my channel. Do I have knowledge of stuff and secret information? Heck yeah. I'm not going to be talking about everything that I know because I really can't. And I really am not going to go there because, like I said, I'm just not. Concern says, well, Scorpios are not self-absorbed. We are simply intrigued. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And so, and I use that word intentionally because most other signs out there are like, Scorpios are so arrogant, man. They're just, and I'm just like, no, they're not. I have never met an arrogant Scorpio in my life. Oh my God. And I know a million Scorpios, you guys. I have never met an arrogant Scorpio. I've met cautious Scorpios, very quiet and kind and caring Scorpios. I don't think I have actually known the darker Scorpios that you would call black Scorpios that, you know what I'm saying? I think they just stay away from, when people, even other Scorpios are around my energy, it scares the shit out of them. I do have intense energy. I've been told this by everybody, no matter what sign they are. And I don't even know, it has really nothing to do, I think, with even astrology, you guys. But even like when I'm just like feeling chill, whatever, like apparently not doing anything, people just like are on me like a damn magnet. And then they love my intensity, my magnetism, my energies, but then they're also intimidated by the same energies that they're actually magnetically drawn to, if that makes sense. And, like, it's just like, even when people think that they're just like joking around and stuff, they're like, my God, settle down. Oh my God, you're so intense. Settle down. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, I can't. That's not who I am. And I don't plan on ever settling down, like ever. Take a chill pill, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, you know what? Have you ever thought that maybe I vibrate at a much higher frequency than you do? Has that thought ever crossed your mind that you vibrate low and I vibrate high? That's why there's some intimidation there. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I know people can feel my energies, but like, I mean, there's times where I'm, because I'm very private. And so like at work, I remember going into work and like everyone would stand right like on top of me. And I'm like, Jesus, let me breathe. Okay, so yeah. I have to literally physically move away from people. But anyways, I love you guys too much. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others. I love you guys so much. And I look forward to seeing you next week, possibly on Friday. Okay, if I do a Thursday show, you'll know. I'll be posting in the community section. But you guys have been so awesome and so supportive and so amazing. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. You guys really made my day. I hope I was able to enlighten yours. So yeah, Action Hank says, me too. I always intimidate our people, even other Scorpios. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is kind of, to me, I'm just like, when other Scorpios tell me that they're intimidated by me, I'm just like, that's kind of weird. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But then again, I can get it because not every Scorpio is vibrating high. Okay? Not every Scorpio is vibrating a great, positive, happy, they're down in the depths of hell still. So they're not vibrating very high. They're still trying to figure themselves out. I get it. It doesn't even matter about the signs. It's just about, it's a spiritual thing right now. It's a spiritual world. Okay. So yeah. And there has been, I don't know if other Scorpios have actually, I can't recall any other Scorpio telling me that I'm intense. It's always been like more of the air signs that tell me that. Probably more than any other sign is the air signs that are always telling me, you need to chill out. You're just too intense. You're just too, whoa. Fire signs, they're pretty fiery, so they totally get it. But I've even had some fire signs tell me, hey, you're just too intense, chill out. But I say air signs are the ones that give me the most crap, more than any other sign. But I'm like, man, go attend to your own doorstep, okay? Because I ain't gonna stop being me, no matter. You don't like my energy, move along. So anyways, I love you guys, and I'm out of here. Cheerio.